Well, it's getting to the point where people are starting to wonder if you should even bother carrying a credit card. It seems every other day there's a report of thieves finding another way to steal your hard-earned money by lifting your credit card numbers. Their latest target, the gas pump. Robert Siciliano is with IDTheftSecurity.com, and he's here with some tips on how to protect yourself. Now, this is all about skimming, correct?
Correct.
What is skimming?
Skimming is when an identity thief will actually create a device to affix to the face of that gas pump. And that device looks like the face of the gas pump. It looks like it belongs there. But the idea is that it's right near or on top of where you slide your credit card in. And then when you slide your credit card into the skimming device, it records that information off of your card. That identity thief then takes that skimming device a couple of hours later, after a few dozen people have already done it, takes it back to his boiler room operation, downloads that data, and then goes and burns white cards, blank ATM cards, and goes out and makes charges under your name.
And these skimming devices look just like the thing that you're supposed to swipe your card with, so they're very hard to detect.
They are very hard to detect. They are very similar to the face of the ATM or the gas pump, but if you look around at other gas pumps, if there are any anomalies, things that don't look right, things askew, these could be red flags, what to look out for.
Yeah, and I was looking at some of the numbers earlier, and they are truly frightening, these skimming operations going on at the gas pumps right now. What, $200,000 in California, over $1 million to $3 million in Las Vegas or in Nevada. So these operations are very profitable for these criminals. However, there are some things people can do. You say your first tip, just pay cash?
Well, if you're really worried about this crime, which a lot of people are worried about credit card and fraud in general. I mean, there's just been so much going on lately with major breaches of data of retailers and so forth. Maybe pay cash. That's an option. It really is.
All right, but if you don't want to pay cash, you can still use a credit card. You have to just be a little more protective of it. So you say go inside and pay directly to the clerk. You
can, it might be a little bit safer for you to actually hand that credit card to that clerk. I mean, there's always still a possibility that clerk can compromise that information as well, but it's another option.
You mentioned this earlier, look for irregular configurations at the pump. So what are you looking for in particular?
Well, if something doesn't seem right, then probably something is wrong. If there is two-sided tape, if there are wires, if there's screws, if there's something that just doesn't look right or seem right, if there's differentiation between the pump you're on and the next one, that could be a red flag as well.
And you also say use credit cards instead of debit cards. Why is there a difference?
If you use a debit card out in public and you use your PIN and someone compromises your debit card and your PIN, they have access to your cash in your bank account. Whereas if you just use your credit card, then it's going to be very difficult for them to get your actual cash out of your bank account. It's the credit card company's money opposed to your money.
All right, and still along those lines, though, a lot of banks sort of forgive you after, what, $50 that you lose, and then they go ahead and replace the rest of your money. Is that the case?
Generally, banks and credit card companies do have zero liability policies. You are required to report any irregularities or unauthorized transactions within a 60-day period of time. A lot of people aren't paying attention to their statements, unfortunately, so sometimes they end up paying for what the identity thief did.
And that goes into your last tip, watch your statements.
That really is what you have to do. I mean, people always ask me, how do you protect your credit cards? I say, don't use them. Otherwise, pay close attention to your credit card statements. Every single month, look at every single charge, scrutinize every charge, and if there is anything unauthorized, call that credit card company and refute it, and they'll take that charge off. But if you're not paying attention to your statements, then you're going to get bit.
I was watching some news stories about this and some newspaper stories about this, and they say it doesn't matter. Don't think that if this happens to me, it's when this happens to me, because it's pretty much an inevitability.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Most people at some time in their life will be a victim of some type of credit card fraud, so you got to pay close attention to those statements.
All right, thank you so much for the tips.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.